Hello everyone, we are back. Excellency Light League game number 2 in our show match this week versus VBU Neon and DA Obsidian. Mr. Moose joined on the analyst desk by Kendo. Kendo, game number 1 was looking pretty fun for a good portion of it, but it was Obsidian that comes out on top. Looking at game number 2, do we see any different bans from Neon? Maybe that Aurelia taken away? Maybe the Corki taken away? I don't know. We're going to find out as we get into it. First 2 bans coming through for both teams already.
And it looking kind of the same semblance from what we saw before. We're going to see a Vel'Koz ban out of VBU Neon. The Mordekaiser ban coming out from DA Obsidian. I once again seeing the Nocturne ban. Not surprising, as we kind of discussed in the off stream. It's something that Ted Garcia has been playing often and very well.
KGB actually in the jungle.
Oh,
KGB in the jungle, but you're correct. You know, Obsidian playing as the Nocturne really well, gets banned out immediately. Same thing for Void playing as the Vel'Koz. Don't want to have that available. However, in game number 1, we saw the Seraphine get banned out. This time, it's gonna be the Seraphine for Merciful Crow, but you know what that means. DA Obsidian picking up game number 2, Xin Zhao for KGB.
It would not surprise me if we saw the Troll once again, though, because the matchup is kind of favorable. That being said, we didn't see the Troll in Gencoup going in on the Xin Zhao. You didn't see very many counter ganks onto the ganks of Xin Zhao, where you could really utilize Trundle's effectiveness.
We didn't really, you're absolutely right. And I mean, part of that I think was just he had weak lanes that weren't able to really, you know, run with him. He wasn't really able to get into a position where he felt comfortable to go to the other side of the Rift. I mean, I don't think he ever stepped foot over on the blue side of the Rift in that game.
Ooh.
However, with the Ziggs getting picked up, most likely going to be for Ponygoat again. Maybe Void picks that up in the mid lane. Poppy, gonna be one of the higher play rate players for Jungkook actually in the jungle.
I can see that.
I don't know if we're gonna see a jungle Poppy here. I would think that, I mean, that's a decent top laner for VBU Neon as well, so it could potentially be a flex pick depending on what they decide to do with it. But, you know, going up against the Xin Zhao, going to be, I think, you know, regardless, going to be difficult if you put the Poppy there. But Ezreal gonna be taken away by Ponygoat, and Forgotten Turtle might be a flex pick. Seraphine could potentially go on to the support. I'm just looking at what we saw from OP.GG. I'm assuming Merciful Crow goes on to the Seraphine. I'm assuming that Forgotten Turtle plays as the Ezreal. That could be, though, a really strong lane, the Seraphine and the Ezreal. Corki, though, gonna get picked up for Void again. I think it performed really well, and it's gonna be available to go up against whatever mid laner Neon decides to go for.
Yeah, and I feel like this is exactly where DA Obsidian want to be. You have what was the core 3 and what really made your composition tick in game number 1. Now they have it all yet again, and they can kind of fill in the holes. The bans coming out. We do have the Shen ban. So I think that DA Obsidian are thinking that Poppy is most likely going to the jungle. We're also seeing the Aatrox being banned out, and that one I find a little bit interesting.
I think that that's more a target pick against Ted Garcia. He has played a little bit of Aatrox recently. I mean, not a lot. So I do think that that's the reason why. Take that taken out of. I mean, the knockup could potentially be really scary. But the Scion going to be taken away. I think Para04, you know, at the end of the day, he was the richest man on the Rift. He did the most damage in game number 1 for VBU Neon, and I think he played really well with it. So they're going to take that away from him. Last ban going to come through. Most likely going to either be a mid lane ban or a support ban. Maybe a top lane, or a top lane ban. We'll see. And they're going to take out the Braum. They didn't like what Corey JJ was able to do with it, and so they're going to deny that potential tanky initiation champion, also going to take away the Unbreakable, the E ability to be able to deny the projectile blocking from the True Shot Barrage, from the Encore. So I think a really strong, safe ban there, but it does leave a lot of supports open, and Obsidian's going to pick up one of the best frontline supports in the game. The Mad Cow is here. You get the horns. It's the Alistair picking up for Corey JJ.
I've only played Alistair once in my entire League of Legends experience due to the fact that I'm usually a top laner. So I don't often get down to the bot lane, let alone in the support role. But one support play that I had of Alistair ended up being an S. So I'm just saying, Alistair feels OP to Victor. Interesting. Okay, so we may be seeing the Seraphine support as you expected.
Yeah, Seraphine support not going to be there for Merciful Crow. I think, Seraphine, Ezreal, could potentially be a really strong lane, but you've got an Enchanter bottom, or Enchanter support with the Ezreal. Dr. Mundo gonna be picked up. I believe that is going to be for Para 04, which would put the Poppy in the jungle. And I like this lineup a little bit better than I liked last matchup. They just didn't have the damage in the early game, in the mid game, to be able to obliterate those carries. Now with the Victor in the mid lane, now with the Ezreal and the Seraphine, they've got what they need to damage-wise. Set, however, going to be picked up for DA Obsidian. Most likely going to go for Ted Garcia in the top lane. Man, another really solid lineup for DA Obsidian. I mean, they get one of the best junglers in Xin Zhao. They get a really strong bot laner for Ponygoat on the Ziggs. Void is on a comfort pick on the Corki. They get the Set and the Alistair to be a really strong front line. This is going to be a really fun game and a really good victory for VBU Neon if they're able to win it.
I also think, though, you can say the same about what VBU Neon have put together. You have the peel with the Poppy. You have double tank with Poppy and Mundo. Mundo goes where he pleases, and I get the feeling you're going to see exactly that. You have a lot of potential with both AP and physical, the Ezreal, the Victor. Everything is there. So I'm really impressed with how both teams put together this draft, and given the fact that we saw a close mid-game that could have gone either way up until about that 20-minute mark in what was an extremely decisive Baron call, this could end up being even better than game number one.
It could be. This could be a really good game, and it's going to be a good game. I know it's going to be a good game. I just don't know whether or not VBU Neon is going to be able to survive this bottom lane. Alistair Ziggs really strong in being able to get not only that knock-up, we saw really strong performances coming in from Ponygo with those satchel charges, and now he has a knock-up to be able to get that headbutt pulverized, the headbutt pulverized to get the knock-up. The satchel charge could then get the Seraphine or the Ezreal out of the way to then get those early game those early game kills, which could, always, the Ziggs performed exceptionally well game one. We'll see what he's able to do in game two. Now with another really strong frontliner in the Alistair, you ban the Braum, you get the Alistair. I think that's, a safe pick, a solid support player, or support champion that's been around for a long time. Para 04, going to be picking up the Mundo, and then it's going to be Jungkook picking up the Poppy. It's going to be, I think, it's a weaker side weaker side top side here for Jungkook. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a gank against Ted Garcia that's going to be successful, but Merciful Crow with that with the gravity well, the W ability, could potentially find the kill onto Void. I mean, I feel like Jungkook is going to be having to really focus on this bottom lane to make sure that Forgotten Turtle and Cheese Mix are able to get off to a good start.
I feel like if you almost want to try to divide the jungle up and try to get a top to bottom down sort of ideal, if Poppy is there consistently towards the bot side, you are consistently having the threat of what would be a counter gank, because the Poppy ultimate, after the Alistair and the Ziggs have spent their initial CC on the Ezreal and the Seraphine. As long as the Ezreal and Seraphine are able to live through that, you have the Seraphine CC, you have Ezreal doing the damage, and then you have the Poppy CC coming through. I feel like for the bot lane, you want to play around the Poppy. You want to play around the Jungkook. So this could go the distance. I feel like Victor and Mundo can take care of themselves for the most part in their given matchups. And that may just be what you want to go for if you're VBU Neon. Maybe try to cheese the bot lane just a little bit more than you did in the previous game.
And I mean, now that they're red side, they're going to have the ability, I think, to really make that a potential priority. It's going to be, I think, still a rough game. You know, if Ziggs is able to get ahead, if Corki is able to get ahead, Victor is going to have the phase rush to be able to get that extra movement speed if there is a gank from KGB. But if he's not able to get away, if he ends up getting knocked up, or if he gets slowed, or, you know, if there's a multi-man gank, if Corey JJ comes up from the bottom lane, they're going to be able to get Merciful Crow down. And, I mean, Merciful Crow has had the most consistency off of any of the players on VBU Neon in the last couple of games. I mean, yes, there was that misplay at the Baron in that last one, but other than that, I felt like she was performing pretty well, was able to get away from a lot of ganks, had that phase rush to be able to survive. Will she be able to do it again? Will Merciful Crow be able to be that really good mage in the mid game to give VBU Neon a win in game number 2? We're going to get about ready to start into this game in just a moment, but Kendo, any final thoughts about the draft before we take a little bit of a break?
No, I feel like more than anything else, the adjustments need to be made for VBU Neon, and that is you have to find an advantage somewhere. It's going to be up to Jungkook to do just that. Don't just settle for little fights here and there. Go after somebody, whether it be KGB, whether it be the bot lane. Pick something, find the advantage, and play around it.
For sure, for sure. And before we take a break, just want to give a quick shout out to a couple of the first matches that have been coming through. Lotus Black was able to take game 1 against Central Sentinels. In their first matchup, it was Degenerates Ascension falling short to Cape Dogs in their first game. And we'll keep an eye out for those matches as we move into game number 3 here on the draft. We just got another one coming in. Zenigma actually goes down to CB. That's actually a big win there for CB. Nicely done. But we're going to see how those games play out later on. For now, however, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to be back for game number 2 in just a moment. VBU Neon versus DAO Obsidian. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, we are back. We are live. Excellency Light League action coming to you week number 2. Game number 2, VBU Neon up against DAO Obsidian. Kendo, my man, this is going to be a really fun matchup as we already get some shenanigans maybe from Obsidian just dropping off that ward like they did in game number 1. But Kendo, this is going to be a crucial matchup for both of these teams.
I 100% agree. If you're VBU Neon, you're looking at a 1-4 record overall. And yes, we said at the top, records mean usually just about nothing. But if you go down another 2 games to DAO Obsidian, you cannot just take it lying down. 1-5 is a completely different thing from being 1-4.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the big deal. If they're able to win both of these next games, they end up going 3-3 in the tournament so far. I mean, that's not the best set score, but that's manageable, and that puts DAO Obsidian at 4-2. I mean, that's a solid set score as well, above a 50% win rate. But, you know, if you end up losing this game, you end up losing game number 3, that puts you at 1-5. And like you said, I mean, that's rough. I mean, that puts you really low on the list coming into week 3. It means, you know, you're climbing up Everest for the rest of the split at that point. And so I'm very excited to see what they're going to be able to do. They get 3 champions this game that were banned out in game number 1. The Ezreal, the Victor, the Seraphine. Now they have to use them effectively.
You know, we're going back to my perspective from the very beginning of game number 1. And I love a little bit of cheese. I love a little bit of invade, and Mundo, I clapped because Mundo is one of my favorite characters, both for the voice lines as well as for the content you can create with Mundo. I really feel like they did themselves a disservice by not at least feigning going into the bot lane and trying to do an invade right there. But, you know, this is just me. I have a childish mind.
You know, I feel like that might have been a fun play. It might have been a good for views, but maybe not for your score early on. I don't know what a level 1 Victor, a level 1 Ezreal is going to be able to do in that invade. I think that it was a smart call, especially when you got Alistair, one of the strongest in potentially being able to keep anyone alive level 1, depending on what he decides to go for. Looking at the mid lane, a little bit of a gank, but it's just a turret plate for a flash, actually, or a turret for a flash. Merciful Crow going to have to use that flash to get away. That could potentially come in clutch. Moving into the next 4.5 minutes if they just decide to go for another gank again. Flash actually getting used in the bottom lane as well. Corey JJ gonna get chunked down, but a good solid trade coming in from Lo-Fi Cheese Mix and Forgotten Turtle.
Yeah, and I would like to see much better tenacity here, and not build tenacity. You know, we're not gonna 100% go in on. Although tenacity could be a good thing against the pairing that they're up against. Yeah, build tenacity. Why not? But I want to see VBU Neon's bot lane do much better. I want to see greater exchanges, sticking with it. Don't just allow yourself to be beat. And right now, they are doing a great job. They are making sure that they stick with. Was that a steal? No, not quite. Very close.
That was so close, but now, oh no, Corey JJ, he's actually continuing to move forward. This could be a potential gank here for Jungkook. Oh, nope, walking away. Walking away is going to be caught out by the ward, but, you know, playing with fire here. The Xin Zhao is all the way at the other end, and a beautiful use of that block. Nice steadfast presence. Now going to be a lot of damage on a Pony Goat, and he gets it. Uses his flash to get away. Heroic charge for the win.
Oh my, and the Mundo almost getting away with utilizing the turret for the assist as well. Me being a fan of the Mundo play here, I gotta say, dangerous confines. You do know the set is coming after you, and you want to play around your passive as much as possible. Getting chunked out, the capsule being in an unreachable place, not gonna be good for the Mundo. Mercy, not very good top lane. Hopefully, Jungkook can get up there to help a little bit early, but I do like where the bot lane is. Oh my.
Another potential gank coming in. A little bit of damage on to Corey JJ as it ends up being Forgotten Turtle getting a little chunked here. Gets down to about 300 HP. But with neither Forgotten Turtle or Cheese Mix going back, they will decide to let this go. And immediately, KGB saying, okay, you know, there's no way that you guys can go after this one. Let's go for the Dragon. Void is there. I think that this is a solid move with, you know, not a lot of damage, or not a lot of health, I mean, on Forgotten Turtle. He's going to not be able to do much of anything against this Dragon, although KGB is very low. Will smite, and they will be able to take that Ocean Drake coming in. And so nicely done there. But let's kind of take a look at what happened in that first nice gank coming in from Jungkook. Kendo, what you got?
I found it extremely interesting. Yeah, that did not look like what I thought we were talking about there. I did find it interesting they were able to get that much off of what was a warded bush in the bot lane, but it was extremely well executed. They are going to be looking for more on the next go-around. We are back in the action, of course, and sadly, for all of our Mundo fans out there, Mundo ended up dying under turret.
Yep, Ted Garcia going to be able to pick up that kill, goes back and picks up that Iron Spike whip. Nicely done, coming through early on. Corey JJ does have Hex Flash here in the bottom lane, just going to be able to use that pretty aggressively. Neither Turtle or Cheese Mix have gone back yet, so they definitely are going to want to come back, or wanting to leave soon, with 2,200 gold in the bank for Ezreal. Finally able to come back and pick up his Sheen on top of the Ruby Crystals, so a nice back coming through for a Turtle to be able to pick up that first item. However, looking topside here, no ward in this brush for Para04. He is at full health. He can go where he pleases. And now he's going to try to get away. Wind Become Lightning is going to connect a little bit of damage as we get the
counter
knock
gank.
up. And now it's going to be potentially a good gank here for Jungkook. No, nicely done. Showstopper's going to come out. No, it won't be enough. Ted Garcia is going to go down to the Keeper's verdict, knocking him up, and right back to the fountain he goes.
And this is exactly what they were lacking in the first matchup of these two teams. The counter ganks coming in from Jungkook. Jungkook early getting involved. And this is a Mundo who is going to have an opportunity to bring everything that the early game saw right on back. Gotta love the enabling there. And Jungkook, credit to him.
And that's going to be a good back for him as well. Picks up the Kindle Gem along with the iron-plated steel caps. Going to be able to get that extra little bit of AD resistances against the Corki, against the Xin Zhao, against the Set. So a nice pickup there all at the early part of the game. That extra movement speed is also really good. But nothing too crazy. Maybe looking to go for this Rift Herald play here. Might be a solid choice. As we do see, no one else really in the area. Set trying to be able to keep things, interesting, saying, hey, we don't want you to just be able to go for that one, and so we'll deny that one. But yeah, okay, it looks like we do have another replay ready to go. Let's take a look at this replay here. Looks like we're gonna see that counter side here. Kendo, what you got? No ward in this brush for Para04. He is at full health. He can go where he pleases. And now he's gonna try to get away. Wind Become Lightning is gonna connect.
I feel like this is a little
counter
knock by KGB.
And now it's gonna be potentially a good game here for Jungkook. No, nicely done. Showstopper's gonna come out. No, it won't be enough.
Credit to
Ted Garcia's gonna go
Jungkook. More than anything else,
to
Jungkook
the
being there at the
verdict.
right time, avoiding the vision that was central. If I remember right, the Rift Herald had been grabbed by KJB just beforehand, so should have been seen, but instead it's a mistake.
Nice use of that flash coming in from Pony Goat to be able to get away from that Encore. While we're talking about that replay, it did end up being Forgotten Turtle going down. We are getting a nice use of Unbreakable Will, a little bit of damage on it too. Cheese Mix who flashes, the Wind Becomes Lightning, Teleport's gonna come through. Flash gonna get away from KGB to get away from the Magnet Storm. And the Crescent Guard gonna be able to keep the damage at bay. 47 seconds left until the Cloud Drake spawns, Kendo. So we've seen an Ocean Drake and now a Cloud Drake. Your predictions, is it an Infernal Soul or a Mountain Soul for game number 2?
I get the feeling we're going with the Mountain, and this may just be Jungkook's game, if that is just that. I get the feeling VBU Neon are hoping for that, if nothing else, just so we can see a few more Poppy stuns.
That's what's up. I love it. I mean, so you're taking the risk on the Mountain Soul. I'll double down, but on the Infernal Soul. I'll go the opposite direction just to keep it interesting, and we'll see who's right here when the dragon does eventually get taken. But for now, looking at the mid lane, little bit of damage potentially for Jungkook. He does end up getting caught out a little bit. Will use the Keeper's Verdict to get away. Teleport gonna get used by Ted Garcia, but he won't get away from the Mega Inferno Bomb, and it is the Corgi that picks up the kill. Unbreakable Will not available for Corey JJ, but he is tanky enough to survive. As we do get Para04, didn't have to use Teleport to come down to the mid lane. But at the end of the day, can end up being a kill and potentially the dragon here for DA Obsidian.
Yeah, that is definitely the dragon. And once again, we are seeing VBU Neon falling behind on objectives. This is not good, and I don't know if it's... I'm going to have to go through and watch some video on Jungkook from the first set. Is Jungkook getting in and setting up for some of these objectives early enough, because this is becoming a very large disparity. The jungle gap, not necessarily in the CS. Jungkook's doing a great job there, but objective gap has been hard.
And you know what, Kendo? Unfortunately, you're wrong as well. It is the Infernal Soul
No.
here for potentially either
Oh,
of
it's
these
over.
teams to get. Thank you. I'll take my money and run, my man. But yeah, I mean, you know, Jungkook, he is in the lead gold-wise, has a 9 CS advantage against KGB. He did get caught out from the potential, or from that, you know, potential gank that he was trying to go for onto Void, so that was good awareness there, and good vision control coming in from KGB and from Void, as they get a lot of turret damage in the bottom lane here, down to 2 turret plates. And then in the top side of the Rift, looks like they're going to try to go for the Rift Herald. They're going to be able to get it as Jungkook is in the bottom side. Do they get something here in the bottom lane? With Jungkook in the area, he wants to be able to go for the heroic charge. The teleport is going to come through, I believe, from Void, and he will try to get the kill. No, it will be the Ziggs being able to survive. The Keeper's Verdict gets the Alistair out of bounds. The unfortunate True Shot Barrage goes right, I mean, so no one dies. Teleport gets used, and it's gonna be DA Obsidian picking up the Rift Herald.
Teleport for a Keeper's Verdict. I'm going to say a good exchange for both teams, and the Rift Herald gotten. So DA Obsidian will come out on top of that one, if only slightly. That's just the opinion of this Iron player. Oh my. Rift Herald going to be going down, and we're going to see even more plates got. The large gap in the gold, getting closer to that 2K mark, going to be largely plates.
You know, those plates were taken right as the turret plating was going down, so a great use, I think, of that Rift Herald. However, we got a bottom lane gank yet again. No Keeper's Verdict ready to go for Jungkook, but we do have Unbreakable Will ready for Corey JJ. Wind becomes lightning, not going to land, but it's going to be a lot of damage on Forgotten Turtle. He's going to flash away, and now it's Jungkook in all alone. Crescent Guard going to be able to get everyone out away from them as the Ezreal hops to the other side.
Oh.
Going to be able to survive for the time being, and now Jungkook going in all alone. A little bit of a misplay as Jungkook goes down. The Magnet Storm gets popped, but no! Corey JJ will survive, Void will survive, and now it's up to potentially a Forgotten Turtle to executes himself before he gets killed by Pony Goat, and that is a 2-for-0 in favor of DA Obsidian.
But we want to give credit where credit is due. Yet again, Forgotten Turtle did get away enough to get the execute, rather than having to give away that extra bit of gold to what would have been a devastating loss for VBU Neon at this point. Now, we're slowly but surely seeping into where we were in the last game. We're at the 15.5-minute mark. You're down by 2 huge objectives. You've lost all the main objectives thus far. And it doesn't look like, with a Poppy down, that you're going to be able to get much pressure in the lanes to set yourself up for the next one, which is going to be that Infernal Drake in a minute.
Yep, 55 seconds until that dragon spawns. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at what happened. What went wrong here in the bottom lane for VBU Neon? As we take a look at it, you know, it looks okay from the beginning for Neon. It does have Forgotten Turtle having to flash away, and then he has to use his Arcane Shift at the other side to try to get away from the bomb. So separation there for Neon, not going to be able to get, you know, any sort of damage for Jungkook to get that assistance. He goes back in, ends up going down. Merciful Crow roaming down, but doesn't get the Magnet Storm. Shout out to that Crescent Guard, actually, to be able to keep the Magnet Storm out of the way. Overall, a really good play for DA Obsidian. On top of that, they get the execute as well. So, with that being said, it is a 2,000, almost 3,000 gold advantage. Infernal Drake is about to spawn, and it looks like Obsidian just going to be able to get it for free. Jungkook is topside getting the red buff.
Yeah, well, you got a little bit of counter jungling there from Jungkook, so congratulations. Red buff but for the Infernal Drake and Soul Point, that one's gonna hurt. I do like the Ezreal using the ult to try to snipe, but it's not gonna be enough, nor is it gonna be the right time. I am watching, however, this top lane battle, because what was a gank early on has enabled Para to slowly but surely get ahead, and we do have Jungkook right there. This could be a dive under tower.
Little bit of damage. The stun is going to land into the Keeper's Verdict to get the knock-up, but now it's going to be Mundo trying to go where he pleases. Will pop the maximum dosage to be able to get that extra little bit of health resistances and the movement speed to be able to get away from Pony Goat, who uses the flash to try to get the kill on to Jungkook. He has to flash away himself, so no ultimate's going to be available as the, what is that, a ladder for the Mundo just hits right onto Pony Goat from the Ziggs, but it doesn't look like the fight is over. The flash is going to come through from Corey JJ as Forgotten Turtle is now trying to come in as well. Will they be able to get something here? Unbreakable Will is going to be landed by Corey JJ. He will have the extra little bit of damage resistance as the turret goes down in the top lane. And the fight looking like it might be trying to continue. Not going to see anyone go down just yet, though, with Jungkook potentially out of the play. Will end up going down, but yeah, that turret's gonna get taken.
Yeah, they're gonna lose the secondary turret most likely as well, because they are segmented, they are cut off from the turret, and oh no, Para taking more than half the damage. That may be a kill. Merciful Crown will get that extra under turret damage, and they do get a response on the overcommit from DA Obsidian.
Heck yeah, nicely done using that gravity well to be able to get away, but now Cheese Mix gonna go for the exhaust into the stun on to KGB. Present Guard's gonna get everyone out of position a little bit, but the Encore gonna land 3. Not gonna be any follow-up damage though, with all 4 members of BG New Neon really low. Gonna try to get away from this one as we do get the wind becomes lightning. The dash gonna land on the Mundo, but Poppy will get the kill onto Xin Zhao. Ziggs is gonna get the kill onto Poppy, and now the Ezreal trying to get some more kills himself. It is a 3v2.
Oh my.
Teleport is on the way for the set. As we do get the Leandries taken down onto Forgotten Turtle. The root is going to land to be able to keep the Ezreal alive, but now Void, and it's going to end up being Tread Garcia getting the kill onto Merciful Crow. Valkyrie to try to get the kill maybe onto the Seraphine, and Seraphine will end up going down. But meanwhile, in the jungle, it's going to be Forgotten Turtle taking the 1v1 against Pony Goat. So at the end of the day, it is a 4-for-4.
That was 2.5 minutes of VBU Neon showing us that they knew how to disengage extremely well, only to go in too far and not disengage when they should have. You have no abilities off of cooldown. Oh, it's painful. And DA Obsidian are able to turn the beat around.
Uh-oh, teleport's gonna come through, it looks like, from Pony Goat, as we do get Para04 taking the kill. Oh no, he overcommits for the kill on to Pony Goat. He survives, actually. Wow. Oh no! No bomb landing onto the madman of Zon. He goes where he pleases and ends up dying there. Kendo, we have had non-stop action for the last couple of moments. Let's take a look at that last fight in just a second here, Kendo. What happened to make it a 4-for-4?
My goodness, they go in. It was a hard commit early, and they did win their initial trading. But right here, you see the teleport coming in. They identify that it's coming in. They needed to retreat early and often. They allow themselves to get cut off and flanked, and what was a positive trade turns into an even Steven that you do not want at this point, because as we go back, the Infernal Drake's coming. Only 45 more seconds. You're yet again wardless in and around the Drake pit. VBU Neon need to be working towards the objectives. They just haven't been doing that.
Kendo, you bring up an amazing point, and this was something that I looked at in the last set that VBU Neon played against Enigma. They did not have solid vision scores, and now looking at the vision scores now, you've got 3 players 10 or less on VBU Neon, everyone almost at 20 before for DA Obsidian, that is a huge disparity that's been able to give them so much vision control. And look at the map control in the river for Obsidian for this Infernal Drake. They're looking to go for the Infernal Soul at 22 minutes. It's like deja vu, but now it looks like they're going to try to go for the fight. Mooner's going to try to go where he pleases as we get a lot of damage from the True Shot Barrage and a beautiful use of the Encore. Oh no! The Keeper's Verdict getting everyone away. They were all grouped up together in that Magnet Storm, but they end up all leaving with Keeper's Verdict getting used defensively there, and now they remain in the fight. Merciful Crow's gonna go down to Pony Goat as the Zinjao picks up the Infernal Soul. Showstopper's gonna land and obliterate Forgotten Turtle, and it's a double kill for Pony Goat as it's DA Obsidian picking up the ace.
I'm borderline speechless, Moose. I'm going to be perfectly honest on that. I get the feeling we'll have the replay on this one up pretty soon. I have to take that one back in because, as you said, the Keeper's Verdict, I think, just took what was a very positive situation and turned it on its head in a very wrong way very swiftly, and they were able to come back. DA Obsidian stuck with the play, and they turned around what was, at the very beginning, it seemed like a fight they were bound to lose.
It was looking really good. I mean, it was looking really strong for VBU Neon at the very beginning of that one, but with that ace, it does mean that DA Obsidian's gonna be able to pick up this Baron. There's really no one in the area, and it does look like we have that replay ready, Kendo, to kind of take a look at what went wrong here for Obsidian.
And I just want to see, was this the forethought? It's exactly as you said. If that ends up just being a regular Poppy R instead of the full-on charge with the knockaway, that is perfect. Instead, it ends up being the slightest of misplays and pushing everything away from the damage of the victor ends up being their undoing. Now, they're facing a hole much like the one that they had in game number one. They are going to have to overcome, and it's going to be up to DA Obsidian just to play this one out. Allow VBU Neon to make the mistakes, because you have a very, very firm advantage.
Infernal Soul is there. The extra explosive AoE damage going to be available on hit when they get them. That is so huge for Void and for Pony Goat. I mean, even KGB loves the extra damage when he's able to get into the back line. And tries to be able to get something here onto Jungkook, but going to be able to get away. I mean, this is a tanky Poppy at this point. 3-4-0 has the Divine Sunderer. Looking to be able to go for that Dead Man's Plate. Will be fine for the time being, but you've got to take a look at the Ziggs. Pony Goat, 4-2-6. Almost at third item with the Oblivion Orb, along with another needlessly large rod. He's going to be able to use those satchel charges as well to be able to get turrets with this Baron buff, which is still active for another minute 30. I mean, now it's all just a matter of what does DA Obsidian get with this Baron. True Shot Barrage is going to land onto nobody. Oh my goodness, look at how quickly Pony Goat shreds these towers. There's going to be tower number 2 with this Baron, or actually, pardon me, tower number 3 coming through for this Baron as the Satchel Charge will most inevitably get used. There it is. So no inhibitor is going to be taken right now for DA Obsidian, but with Elder Dragon spawning in 2.5 minutes, with Baron still up for another 45 seconds, Kendo, this is looking really rough for VBU Neon.
Yeah, and at this point, VBU Neon need to hope for a mistake out of DA Obsidian, because they are doing a great job of just slowly but surely whittling them down, forcing these team fights that are very advantageous to them. Again, Infernal Soul being that is what we have here. They have a very, very good advantage with the AoE as well. They can just really tank a couple extra shots, damage the grouping that they are forcing by doing the 4 all grouped together, and they can start to take those minor objectives. They can start to take the buffs. They can start warding up the opposing jungle, and this really is dire straits for VBU Neon, and I'm not talking about the Sultans of Swing, my friend. It's going to take a Sultan to swing this one.
You know, Kendo, that was, you got the chops, man. You're a hoot. You're a hoot for sure. But I don't even think a Sultan is gonna be enough to give VBU Neon back this one. It's gonna be an Elder Dragon that they're gonna need to win this game. I mean, Elder Dragon is a game closing objective that VBU Neon could potentially get if they're able to get a nice pick, if they're able to get a nice engage against some of these weaker members. I mean, Ziggs isn't necessarily the tankiest member on the Rift, nor is the Corki, though he does have the Immortal Shield Bow, 4-0-4 for Void. I mean, it's just going to be a rough situation here. 27 minutes into the game, and they look like they're maybe trying to go for an engagement here in the jungle. Oh, we get a nice flash coming in from Corey JJ. Gonna get the knockup on Jungkook, but it is gonna be the Keeper's Verdict potentially gonna get used.
No.
It's gonna be the knockup, but the Encore is not gonna be enough. Void is gonna go unstoppable. Mortal Shield Bow is gonna get popped, as we do get a lot of damage on it too. Onto the Mundo. Para 04 will die. No one going down just yet, as we do get Jungkook being able to get the shutdown onto Void. The Corki will die, but it is a 2-for-1 in favor of DAO Obsidian, and now they are rushing towards the Nexus.
Well, yeah, you're saying there's a chance. It's a very small one, as we are seeing inhibitor number 1 and number 2 going down, but Jungkook did finally get a little gold into the bloodstream. It just seems like it's too little too late. The divide and conquer mentality of DAO Obsidian combined with that Infernal Soul is just too much. They might be able to get the pick here. The additional damage, just not able to get the set down. That would have been yet another shutdown that they could have put into the bank, and another snipe. Oh my goodness, what a snipe by Pony Goat.
Pony Goat is making a name for himself as potentially, I don't know if he's going to be MVP of this series, but maybe MVP of this game. 6-2-7. So much pressure with those satchel charges. He has been phenomenal in these team fights as well, and that is the second time this game that he's been able to get a huge kill with that Mega Inferno Bomb. As we do get to see the Elder Dragon getting taken, Jungkook will go down. Kendo, I think we have one final replay that you want to talk about before the game ends, as it does look like DAO Obsidian's about to finish the job.
All the vision. We've been saying it the entire time. Vision gap. Everyone was right there, and the DAO Obsidian knew it. They knew they had a chance to divide and conquer. They even knew that they had divided the VBU Neon squad. The only person going out on that is Void, getting left behind by the team. And this is, as you can see, we come back to a devastating team fight. Both turrets are down. It's just a matter of time before the Nexus falls. Can they get one more kill? Doesn't look like it. But DAO Obsidian. Whew, snipe to the heart, my friend. Let's talk about Pony Goat for a minute. Because you do that once? That's impressive. You do that twice to the same Seraphine. That's disrespect.
It's explosive is what it is, as Pony Goat 7-2-9 in this game. This is a very low kill game coming in from both teams. I mean, so 16 out of 20 kill participation for Pony Goat in game number 2. Had the most gold on the Rift. Had a 3-item build at 30 minutes into the game along with the Oblivion Orb. I mean, exceptional performance coming through. I would expect that the Zig is going to get banned for game number 3. I mean, it played really well in game 1. It played almost perfect in game number 2. I mean, Pony Goat is on fire right now, and it didn't matter that the Braum was banned. Corey JJ was an amazing support to pair with them. And DAO Obsidian, they just did some great work in the bottom lane yet again, and they were able to get themselves a really good win here in game number 2.
I go back to what we saw in the previous game because I feel like at this point we've seen it for what has been an hour straight now. The same trend being played out. There needs to be adjustment from VBU Neon because of the fact it's not necessarily that they are hard losing lanes. They are doing a great job of keeping up. They are playing well defensively. I look especially at the matchup between Para and Ted Garcia. I went into this with the mentality, okay, Para needs to do a whole heck of a lot better. And Para has delivered, in my opinion, on multiple games, on multiple accounts. Was the only one with a CS lead going out of this game. That being said, it's the little battles, and I'll say it over and over again, that add up over time. And this was a product of continuing to lose the little battles. I think we see an extra little symptom of what's been going on in the fact that there has been a lack of vision and that there is a doubling up of the vision scores pretty much everywhere on the Rift. And those are two adjustments that need to take place. I want to see a little more activity out of Jungkook. Yes, Jungkook is still getting what you expect out of Jungkook. That's a great CS score and a really good presence as far as trying to keep things stable. The problem is there's no progression. There's no forethought in what is going through the mind of VBU Neon. They are finding themselves reacting more often than not to the next objective, and that has put them behind every objective.
And yeah, the macro play, you're absolutely right. I mean, KGB was there from the very first Dragon to the Baron to the Rift Herald. They again got everything that they wanted in the fights, in the objective control early game. I mean, yes, you do have a CS advantage for Jungkook in the early game, but it doesn't equate into those kills. It doesn't equate into the control that 3 dragons pre-20 minutes gives you, because, you know, you have to fight for dragon number 4. You cannot give them an Infernal Soul. And the fact that they were able to get those first 3 dragons, the third dragon at like 18 minutes in the game, it was just really strong for DA Obsidian, especially since it was an Infernal Soul as well. That extra damage that was going to be given for Void and for Ponygoat, it just worked out exceptionally well for DA Obsidian all throughout the game. Shout out again to Ponygoat on the Ziggs. But all in all, it was a really great game for DA Obsidian. They're going to win game number 2. They are now 2-0 in this block. There is now one final opportunity for VBU Neon to be able to get some redemption here in this one. Can they go 1-2 today again and bring their set score to 2-4? Or do they fall short again and go 1-5? We're going to find out in just a moment. We're going to take a little bit of a break before we get into game number 3. And we'll be right back before you know it. See you guys soon.